This was more like the 5-year plan, not the 5-week plan. But when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. And the lemons this week happen to be a 2,000 square foot workshop. I figured we'd start off here by kind of introducing the space. I have not actually seen what all is here. I've looked around a little bit, of course, but there's a bunch of tools and equipment in here that I will get to utilize as part of this shop space, but I don't really know what's here, so we're going to kind of explore through this together. I don't 100% know the size, but I think we're right around 2,000 square feet. And for context, we're coming from a 300 square foot garage with really tiny ceilings, but here I can't even touch the ceiling anymore. Very exciting just to be able to like rotate material. So it's got a lot of cool amenities like air compressor that's plumbed in. If you look down here, there's pipe that goes to not only like a tap for like a sprayer or a nail gun or something, but there's also a couple of tools that use compressed air. We're getting fancy here. So there's a bunch of stuff in here still. There was a shop that was here before that is kind of in the process of moving out, but some of the equipment is going to stay. It's kind of complicated, but there's a lot of material that won't be staying. We have heat. I've worked in plenty of terrible cold shops over the years. There's also AC in here, so in the summer and in the winter, we won't sweat and freeze to death. There's a bandsaw. I don't know anything about it. 18-inch bandsaw from Delta. This manual, nobody's read that manual. Probably from the 90s, maybe the early 2000s. Definitely going to be keeping that around, getting that thing set up and dialed in. This is a really cool special machine for cabinets. It's called a hinge mortising machine. It's part of the Bloom or Blum, however you want to say it, line of tools. It looks like it also has a line boring attachment. So if you do cabinets that have adjustable shelf pins, this thing can drill like 6 holes at once. It's super cool. Don't know how to use it necessarily, but it's here. The biggest table saw I have ever seen. This massive Powermatic table saw. Realistically, we're not going to use this. You know, I love my saw stop and all of the stuff that went on there, and I prefer to keep all 10 of my fingers. So I'm a little reluctant to use old table saws, though this is a really good one, and it has a fence that is a full 8 feet long. I didn't even know that was an option. To be determined if this will stay in here or if it's going to get claimed for other part of the building. This shop is inside of a larger warehouse. All of these tools are owned by the people that own the warehouse space. So still kind of figuring out what's going to be where. But there's a massive outfeed table attached to it. So even if this table saw stays, I'm thinking I could put mine on this side and we could do like the Frank Howarth dueling table saw kind of thing, and maybe that becomes dado stack, or I don't know, having 2 table saws sounds like a good idea. We'll kind of wander through this trash here. Shout out to my friend Adam, who's behind the camera today. He's been helping me out a little bit here and there with some of the filming. Here's a planer. I don't know anything about it. If it's helical head, it may stay. If not, I plan on buying some more tools. Couple of small dust collectors, but if you've been paying attention, you may notice that there are these pipes throughout the shop because there is a massive whole room dust collection system. The dust collector is actually outside of the shop. I'll show you that here at the end, but it's like a big industrial, every tool that I could possibly want, that thing can handle it. So all these little dust collectors, they're getting out of here. It's a Porter cable tool, which I didn't even know they made these, but this is a pocket hole cutting machine. So it's like the Craig jigs, but they actually make like an industrial version of them for like cabinet shops and that kind of thing. A bunch of this is just storage from materials and things that the company had kept in here while nobody was using this as a full shop. There's this amazing seafood sign. I'm going to have to ask if we can keep that. I don't feel that strongly about seafood, but I just kind of love the sign, and it would look good on the wall. what do you guys think? Like up there, just seafood with no other context. It could just be like a weird inside joke. But as you can see, there's tons of space. So there's some other work tables that I've seen kind of pushing around. They're cleaning up a lot of stuff, so they have some of them in other parts of the building right now, but definitely going to build or get a 4x8 work table probably in this area. So when we're building and assembling stuff, we can do that. Over here is a miter saw station. This is not mine. This is not going to stay. We're going to move my miter saw and honestly all the tools. If that wasn't apparent, all the tools from my garage are going to come here, and we're going to build this out. And I guess my car can go back in the garage. I don't really know. Weirdly, I'm very excited about this. This is a cabinet to put paint and flammable chemicals in. They're good because you don't want your shop to burn down, but also like, I don't know if you've ever looked one of those up. They're insanely expensive. They're like thousands of dollars new, and even used, like a destroyed rusty one's like $400. And they said I could keep that, or at least use it in here. There's a bunch of space here, which I think there's some tools that we're going to show you on the outside of the building, or outside of this room rather, that are going to get moved into here. I'm not really sure why they were put out there, but I was talking with the rest of the guys and they said that we could move them in here. This needs some love. It appears that somebody spilled their coffee or something on it. Hopefully the ceiling isn't leaking, but I don't think so. This is a shaper. It's basically like a router table, but it's many, many more horses than a router is. We're gonna have to learn. It looks like it's barely been used. It's definitely dusty and rusted, but it uses these massive cutter heads to make like tenons for doors, and I can't get that out right now, but shaping for doors and styles, and there's a lot of really cool things you can do with that. So this thing definitely going to stay. It's got a massive 60 amp cord to it, so it's already hardwired in. So we're not going to mess with that. We're just going to leave it. Let's go check out the dust collector. Back here, there is a massive dust collection system. I don't know a ton about it, but I've seen these at some of the trade shows and stuff for like really big shops, and it has these 3 huge bags. So I don't think we're going to have any issues with dust collection. So that's going to be super, super nice. We can get a shot too of, you can see all the pipes for, this is all for the dust collector, both inside and outside the shop. So this is one of the machines that we will likely move inside the shop. This is an edge banding machine. So any kind of plywood or sheet good cabinets, when you put an edge on it, this is a machine that does that basically automatically. There's a few different kind of versions. I don't know exactly how this one works, but you put a spool of edge banding. There's a bunch sitting back here on a shelf that you put the edge banding on here and you feed it in, and the machine has glue in it, and so it runs on electric and compressed air to clamp the material in, and it does all that, and I think it cuts it off at the end. This is way outside of the things that I'm used to, so there'll be a lot to learn there, but it's here, so we get to use it. There's a spray booth, so if we want to do, it's big enough that we could do whole tabletops and everything, so if we wanted to do that, we can figure that out. They're storing some stuff in there, so probably not going to do that anytime soon. As far as I know, it all works and it's all hooked up. There's more. Let's see, what else is out here? This is probably good that there's instructions because I've never used one of these. But this is a panel cutting saw, so you can put a sheet of plywood or any kind of sheet good, like 4x8 sheets, onto this, and it has a bunch of really precise measurements and stops and things so that you can break down sheet goods for cabinets and whatnot with this. This thing's pretty big. I don't think we're gonna put this in the shop necessarily, but it's good to have it in case we just don't feel like wrestling full sheets of plywood. We can cut things to a more manageable size. There's a forklift, which is always useful for lifting and forking, right? That's what you do with a forklift, lift and fork. We're coming back around now, and we are back on the opposite side of the shop. I still have a lot of thoughts and feelings, and I'm excited. I don't really know what to do with my hands, to be honest with you. It's kind of a blank slate. It's kind of a mess. I'm super excited. Like I said at the beginning, this is not what I was anticipating doing. You know, this channel has been built on the idea of having a little shop and figuring it out as we go. And like I said in the last couple of videos, as I'm going full time with this, that we're going to figure out how to do this as a business. This is honestly overwhelming. The shop layout will be important. I would love to hear from you guys if you have thoughts on how to lay out the shop. I've definitely had my own experience with big shops and medium shops and kind of the gamut of it, but I'm always open to suggestions. I'd love to hear from you down below on what you think I should keep, what I should move, what would you do in this situation. Obviously, we got to get all of my tools moved over here. That'll be probably next week's project. So if you have suggestions or thoughts or tips for laying out a big shop or things that you would want to do if this was yours, leave them down below. I'd love to hear some input as we kind of plan this out. I haven't really had a vision for what this is going to be. This is kind of the first time I've really spent any time in this space to kind of feel out the layout. But let me know what you think. Let me know what tools you want to see more of. If there's things that you were like, I would get rid of that, I would add this. It's because of people like you watching and supporting you of this channel that I wouldn't be able to do it without you. And I hope that this is exciting to you guys too, as we have a lot of work to do. We're gonna buy tools, we're gonna set this up, we're gonna talk about shop layout, we're gonna build a bunch of shop furniture, but also we're gonna build a lot of really cool stuff here. So if you're not already, I hope that you subscribe and stay tuned because there's a lot to figure out.